final week to work on our Tim Burton artworks. Now, today we're going to talk about two major things. We're going to talk about how you might want to color your artwork. So, what you might use, colors you might use to make it look more like a Tim Burton artwork, and how we are going to turn this in. Okay. And I know that's a big deal. It's the first time we're doing it. It'll make some of you guys a little nervous, but we're going to go through step by step to make sure that we can get everybody to turn in that assignment. So, those two things we're going to talk about color, and we're going to talk about finally turning in this project.
All right, guys, so this is the last week that we are going to work on this. It should be in the materials this week that you guys need something to color with. Now, I am going to take some of the crayons that we were using last year. So these are all used crayons from those color bins. And I am going to select colors that I think would look kind of like a Tim Burton artwork. So those are darker colors. So I'm going to take some, brown, gray, black, purple, dark reds, dark greens. We want some darker colors. I'm not necessarily going to use, but you can, yellow for the whole thing, or light green or pink. You can use those a little bit, but we want to keep the colors a little bit darker because, again, Tim Burton was really influenced by those old black and white kind of spooky monster movies, so we want it to kind of have that feel to it. Now, does that mean we can't add rainbows and unicorns and have a lot of fun with it? Absolutely not. We can still make it look like a Tim Burton and put things like, flowers on our artwork. So what we're going to go ahead and how we're going to start this is we're going to think about what colors we want to use for things like eyes. If you guys are using crayon and you have a white crayon, I know this seems really weird, but it does add something to it if you go ahead and you use the white. So I'm going to go ahead and start there. I like to start with the eyes. All right, from here, I'm going to go ahead and think about the lips. We're going to get back to the eyelids later. So do I have to use this color? No. And this color is a little bright. I don't usually wear lipstick this crazy. So I'm going to use a trick, and this works really well with crayon in particular, but I'm going to make it a little bit more brown. All right. Now, from here, I'm going to think about what color I might use for my skin. Now, in a Tim Burton artwork, a lot of his characters are very pale. In fact, they use like white and like light blues to go ahead and make their skin color. I'm going to go ahead and change it. You guys can use whatever color you want. And again, a really good trick, especially for my 4th and 5th grade, is you can go ahead, especially with crayon, if that's what you're working with, or color pencil does this really well too. I can start with one color. So I'm going to add peach. And if I want to change it up a little bit and make it a little bit more spooky, I can add a little bit of gray or a little bit of white to the color, and that gives me kind of a more Tim Burton look. When we do this project in school, I don't give students a regular white piece of paper. We start with a gray piece of paper, and that helps to give it that gray look to it. So if you can do this, awesome. If you are using marker though, I would not try to mix the colors. It just doesn't work very well with marker. And I'm not really happy with the color of my skin yet. So I'm going to come back in with some brown, and I'm going to make it a little bit darker. Just a little bit. I'm just adding a little color to it. That is, again, the really cool thing about crayons and about colored pencils. Again, if you're using marker, you shouldn't worry so much about trying to mix the colors. Not because it's impossible, but because with marker, the pigment, what makes the color, is so strong that a lot of times the colors kind of overpower each other. So you end up with like a gobbledygook of color instead of what you wanted. Because right now I just made it a little bit darker. All right, so next, go ahead and we're gonna keep coloring in our artwork. I am gonna wait on my eyeshadow, but I am gonna color in my eyebrows. So I choose a color. I have kind of brownish eyebrows. I'm gonna use the same brown for my hair in a minute. You wanna make sure that you color in your hair. You wanna make sure you color in your t-shirt as well. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do a time lapse really quick so you guys can see me working on that. And then we're gonna talk about the background next. So see you in a second. All right, guys. So next we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about the background. Now, if you went ahead and you added designs to your background, you wanna keep some things in mind as far as coloring goes. I have a lot of pink-ish red in my artwork. So the things that are in my background, I probably wanna stay away from the pinkish red. I wanna find a color that is different than a color that I used a lot in my artwork. So like the brown for my hair, I probably would not use that for the background because then it's not gonna stand out and you're going to blend into the background. So I'm gonna choose a color that I didn't use a lot of. It can be something as simple as a gray. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take gray. And I'm just gonna very carefully color in my background. I like to, when I am coloring, kind of make a little bit of a bumper. And how I do that is I hold my crayon very carefully and I like to go ahead and make a little bit of a bumper. So how I do that is I very slowly, compared to how I normally color, go around an area first. And those of you first graders, no second graders that had me last year, and some of you first graders now who were in kindergarten with me last year might remember me saying back, forth, short, short, short. That's mostly for this bumper. So this line. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna color it in, and I can go bigger like this. And because I'm not aiming right for the line, I'm aiming for that bumper, it helps me not go outside of the lines too much because I know as soon as I touch here, I'm good. But if I go all the way to the line, sometimes I go over. So this helps us color inside the lines. And I'm going and I'm coloring my whole background in. Again, if you had stripes or some kind of other pattern, make sure you go ahead and color that in. If you want it to look a little bit more spooky, like a Tim Burton, you know, maybe you try to limit your colors to gray and black and brown. Maybe this whole time, all you've had to color with is either a pen or a pencil. Is it okay to just color this in with a pen or a pencil? Absolutely, you want to use what you have. If you're coloring in with a pen or a pencil, mostly a pencil, what you can do is you can very carefully change how much pressure you're putting on your artwork. So if I go ahead and I color very lightly with my pencil, that is going to give me one color of pencil, one color of gray. If I press really hard, it is going to give me a completely different color of gray. It's going to give me a dark gray. So you can use the open white spaces. You can do light, you can do medium, and I mean, you can really, really make it super, super dark, but you gotta press really hard and try really hard not to rip your paper. And by doing that, you can create different colors of gray. And in a way, with movies like Frankenweenie that were all in black and white, that's gonna look even more like a Tim Burton. So no stress. If you don't have things to color with, you can still color this in. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna finish this up, and I'll see you guys at the end. Okay, so some things to keep in mind before we go ahead and we finish this up is, and this is weird, I always tell students to write their name on the back of their artwork, but we're not gonna do that this time. This time we're gonna write our names on the front. The best place to write it would be in the lower corner. I'm gonna write it in the lower right-hand corner. And unlike normal, I want you guys to kind of write it a little big. So I'm gonna write my name, first name. You can write it with whatever you would like, as long as we can see it in the picture that we're gonna take. So you kind of gotta think about the picture. If I can't see it in the picture and the file gets misplaced, then I'm not gonna know whose artwork this is. So we need to make sure we write our name kind of big. First name and last name will help me figure out where this needs to go. All right, and then if you are one of those people from last week, that went the extra mile to go ahead and create a frame, you can go ahead and place that on your artwork now. So we take those 4 pieces, making sure the tail end tucks under that end design so that you get a really cool framing your artwork. We're gonna glue that down. That is not required, but it's just something to do if you want to take it to that next level. You want to be a little more creative with it. That looks pretty cool. Pretty cool frame. Okay, and now I'm gonna go ahead and I am turning it over to another art teacher who did a really good job of explaining how to take a picture of your artwork. He's not gonna show you this artwork, but he's gonna show you how to just in general take a picture of an artwork and how to turn this into assignments in my classroom under classwork. So you'll probably have noticed that there is a section that says Tim Burton, and you are going to click on it and he's going to show you and kind of walk you through how to go ahead and turn in your assignment. If you guys have any questions or have any bumps, please go ahead and email me. We will figure it out. Again, this is the first time that we are doing this, where we're taking a picture, you guys are sending it in to me to grade. Okay, we might have a couple bumps, and that's okay. Make sure when you're taking your picture, I can see all these details though, because if I can't, like right now I can't see my name, I would have to rewrite it here. If I can't see the details, I can't grade them because I don't have the artwork in my hands. So make sure when you take a photo, it is exactly how you want me to see your artwork, because I can only see what you guys are turning into me. But I'm very excited to see it. Also, parents, I wanted to let you know that there is a rubric of this project for all grades under classwork. If you go to the Tim Burton main topic, it'll say Tim Burton rubric. And on that rubric, it has everything your student needs to get that 3 or 3.5, if you, or even 4 if you guys went above and beyond. Again, realize that when we are grading an art, a 3 is awesome. If you did a 3, you did everything that you were supposed to do. If you get a 3.5 or a 4, you should be ecstatic, because I rarely give those out, because that means that you have gone above and beyond what was expected. If you got a 2.5, that means that you did most of the things that I asked for. Maybe you missed 1 or 2 things on the rubric. If you get a 2, that means you missed a couple more things, and so on and so forth. If after you guys see the grades, if you have any questions, make sure to go ahead and email me. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to that other art teacher so you guys can see how to use those instructions about how to take a picture and how to go ahead and turn in your assignment. All right, and again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me.